This story told about a guy. He was 45 years old, a single Jewish guy, and he was a psychiatrist. And he couldn't get married. And his mother was getting very, very frustrated. You know, what's going on? No, get married already. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. The mother's nudging. When you get married already. And the guy's like, leave me alone. Leave me alone, Mom. Just leave me alone. And this is going on years and years. Finally, he meets Miss White. Oh, perfect, the perfect woman for him. He's so excited. He says, Mom, I met Miss White. You know, Mom, I'm a psychiatrist, so I want to do a little experiment. Experiment? What am I, a guinea pig? No, Mom, it's okay. A little experiment. I like to have you come to a room, and I'd like to bring 20 women, and I want you to speak to each and every one, and see if you can maybe figure out who is Miss Right. I says, no, okay. Okay. He puts 20 women in the room, mother goes around, she meets every single one, talks to them. Son says, Mom, tell me, you have any idea, any inkling who might be Miss Right? And he says, of course, it's the Wunderbuche van Dress. Mom, that's uncanny, it's amazing, how did you ever know? He says, well, she was the only one I didn't like. Now what happens is that's kind of like sort of the Jewish mother's script. You may have this. I don't know. We may all have this. And what happens is that in life, when you're going to meet someone, you want to find the right person in your life. Sometimes there's old baggage, there's family things that come into play. I'm trying to understand. Tonight, I want to discuss soulmates. Okay? So I want to discuss, first of all, for those of you who are not married together, getting married, how to find your soulmate. That's one. And then what is the concept of soulmates? And hopefully those who are already married and have their soulmates, how to make the relationship of soulmates successful. Okay, so it's a tall order, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's start. The first question I want to ask you is, when you meet someone of the opposite sex, what is the first thing that attracts you to the person?
Smile.
Smile. Okay. What else? Let's be frank. Here's a joke. Okay, this is an honest person. Okay.
It's the personality.
Very good. Let's be frank. So, really, generally speaking, what happens is when you meet someone, the first thing that causes an attraction, generally speaking, with some exceptions, but what happens is it's just some kind of physical connection. Okay? You see someone, you like it, it looks something about them physically usually grabs you, and very often that is the opening part of the relationship. So let's start from there. So I want to start actually to understand a little bit the power and pitfall of the physical attraction. Okay? So let's basically get the brass tacks first. Here's the question. The brass tacks question. I want to ask you, what was the first nudist colony in the world? The Garden of Eden. Yeah, it's too sharp. Can't pull a fast one on Sam.
Oh, I was there last Very good, very good. It's upstate New York.
Okay. Yeah. So the Garden of Eden. Very good. Thank you, Sam. So now, the Garden of Eden. That really was the first place there were people, like Adam and Eve, were there and they were unclothed. They were walking without any clothes. Now, what happens in the story? In the story, it happens that they go and they eat the fruit. They eat the fruit, and all of a sudden they realize that they're not clothed, and they put on clothes. Now, it's a little bit weird. How in the world is eating a fruit going to affect you that all of a sudden you realize, I'm not wearing any clothes? How does that work? What happens? He eats the fruit and he hears that Jewish mother's voice in his head. No, you're naked. It's a clothes on you. What's with you? What happened? So I want to know what happened. How did it work that eating this fruit causes Adam and Eve to realize they're not wearing clothes? Any ideas? Okay, I'll start. The fruit is called what? First of all, it was not an apple. Okay, let's just take that off the table. It was not an apple. That's not what it is. It was what?
Grapes.
Grapes could be loose grapes. We discussed that once. Yes, could be loose wine. We discussed that at the Friday night table. Fig. Fig. Yeah. What? Yeah, drug, right? We discussed that again. But all these things that have different aspects of why these things that he ate caused something. What's it called? It's called the tree of knowledge of good and evil. See, people think it's a tree of knowledge of evil. It's not true. It's a tree of knowledge of good and evil. What does that mean? It means like this. It means Adam and Eve, in the very beginning, were seeing the world clearly. Okay? They saw the world in a very spiritual way. When they ate this fruit, what they were doing is they were entering into a world where good and evil was mixed up. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our world today. It's what we live in. We live in a world that's not black and white. Any bad guy you meet does some good things. And every good person you meet does some bad things. There's a world where good and evil are mixed up. And when they ate this fruit, what it meant was they entered into this state of good and evil being confused and mixed up. And what happened? It means before they entered that state, they were on a spiritual level. So when they looked at each other, although they weren't wearing clothes, they saw each other as a beautiful spiritual entity. As a soul. Now, of course, the soul had a beautiful casing. The casing is what? The body. But when they saw each other as a soul with a body, and everybody was covering it. That's what they saw. Now, today, the world's not like that. Let's be frank. If people walking around without any clothes today, no one's going to say, hey, beautiful soul. It just didn't happen. It's not happening. What happened? Why not? Because what happened was originally they saw each other as the spiritual being, and there was a covering. When they ate the tree of knowledge of good and evil, reality switched and things became mixed up. And now they saw people only in an external way. Once the world was not clear, they weren't able to see who you really are. You really are a beautiful soul, and a beautiful covering. But they weren't able to see it anymore. What now they saw the person as only externalities. It's an amazing idea. And that's why what they do, when they saw that, they covered themselves. Let me show you this idea. Does anyone know what the word for clothing is in Hebrew? Beged. Beged. So beged is one of the names. Beged, right, in Hebrew and English. Beged. Beged. Does anyone know any other names for clothing? You see that far? Is that what you can see? Yeah, sort of. Beged. Does anyone know any of the other names for clothing in Hebrew? Levush. Very good. Levush. Levush. Any other names? Does anyone know how you say a coat in Hebrew? Me'il. Very good. Me'il. I have to go in English. Meal. Okay. Meal. Now, if you look at these three things, they exactly say the concept I just told you. Beged in Hebrew, which means clothing, is also the word boged. What does boged mean? Boged means betrayal. To betray. What were they saying? The reason why they wanted to put the clothing on was because if they didn't, the body would betray who they really were. Because you would look at me and say, oh, the body, that's all I am. I'm just a physical being to you. The clothing, the beged, was that my body should not betray who I really am. Who's the greater me? You think I'm just a body? It's not true. That's beged. Amazing. The next word, lavush. You know lavush, all this clothing, it means word lo, bosh. No embarrassment. Now, why would we be embarrassed about the body? That is not a Jewish concept. We don't have the idea to be embarrassed about your body. Not at all. So what does it mean, no embarrassment? You know what's embarrassing about the body? What's embarrassing is if you think that's all I am, That's very embarrassing. No. Yeah, I got a beautiful body as a covering to a much more beautiful soul. That's the essence of who I am, and it's a covering to it. They put on the clothing, the lavush, so there'll be low boast, there'll be no embarrassment of saying I'm only a body and not a soul. Amazing. Hebrew's great, huh? Right? It's all there. The third one, me'il. You know what me'il means? It's an amazing concept. Me'il. The sages tell us it's from the word mi'ilah. Mi'ilah is a term in the Torah. Mi'ilah is when you go and you take something holy and use it for non-holy purposes. Okay? In the temple, there were certain things that were holy. A modern example, which is not exactly mi'ilah, but the concept is a guy takes his kippah and uses a pot holder. Right? It's a pot on top of it. It's kind of using something holy for a mundane purpose. That's called mi'ilah. What does that have to do with the body and the soul? Someone help me here. What does this concept of taking something holy, using it for the mundane, have to do with the body and the soul? It has to do that the body is very, very holy. It's very amazing as a covering for the soul. But if you think my body is all I am, you've taken something that's special and you've separated it from the root of what it is. It's the covering for who I really am, my soul. That's mi'ilah. That's taking something that's special, that's sanctified, and using it for a mundane purpose. I'm just a body to you. That's not who I am. Okay? So what you see here is an amazing first step towards relationships. You see that, yes, it's true what Zena said before, I think we'll all agree, that what happens is the physical goes, and that's the attraction. We want to build a relationship. But, the big but is that it's a tremendous power, but it can be misused. And we all see that. We all see that. I mean, that's the whole concept of bulletin boards today, right? You know, bulletin board, the woman is selling, cars. She's selling, what kind of car did you get again? The Jetta. She's selling Jetta. So she's lying on top of the car selling. Now, what is it you're thinking? Wow, what a holy car. What is it you're thinking? The world has created a situation where we separate the body from the real person. That's what we do. Now, I'm not saying we all do that, because that's what Adam and Eve realized. Adam and Eve realized that when they looked at each other, in a way, they saw the body on that was a problem. And they realized they have to cover. Why cover? Not because they're embarrassed. You know what the covering means? Covering means is, don't think I'm only a body. When I cover, that means that there's much more to me than just this externality. And I'm covering to say that that's not who I am. I'm much, much more. To show you the body, that's who I am, you think. Much, much more. Before I go on, questions, comments, thoughts on what I said so far. Does that make sense? Not make sense? How the body and soul interact? Thoughts, comments on this? Anybody? Yes, no, maybe? Good? So good? Good. Okay, good. I'll take it. All right, so now, let's go on. So what I want to go and I want to discuss now the different stages when you want to go and find the right person, or you're in a relationship, you want to know how to understand it. I want to look at the different parts of a person and what that means in terms of the relationship. Let's go to the first part. I want to say a Kabbalistic idea for a moment. Okay. Kabbalists tell us there are 5 parts to a person. There are 5 parts to the soul of a human being. Okay? And we're going to see they all correlate with some part of yourself, and that's going to be key to build a relationship. You're going to have to know how each part relates in a specific relationship with another person. Okay? So the first part is called the nefesh. Nefesh. That is the lowest part of the soul. It's called the nefesh. Now, what's the nefesh in charge of? The nefesh is in charge of the physical dimension. Okay, it's called the life force of you. It's our life force. And what that means, we have a nefesh, it's in charge of the desires, the physical aspect of human beings, the life force. And there is where resides the aspect of relationship. Do you think in Judaism it's important to have physical attraction?
Yes.
It is. It's very important. You have to have it. Okay? If you don't have it, it doesn't start. For Nathan, it's the Bruce Springsteen song, you can't start a fire without a spark. You can't do it. You can't do it. That doesn't do it. Right? It means you need to have something in the physical relationship, otherwise it's not gonna happen. Okay? So let me just talk a minute about that first aspect. Because they used to have, years ago, people have heard of arranged marriages. Right? You've heard in Europe, people with arranged. What was that all about? It was bizarre. Really, the idea there is the reason why they were doing this was the ideal. The reason why people did it was because they were being killed by pogroms and other things that were going on, crusades. And what happened is, if parents wouldn't arrange a marriage early on with these people, they could be killed and never get married, never keep the Jewish nation going. So that was one of the reasons why they had these marriages. But the law in Judaism is that it's forbidden. Guys say, oh, I'm a very spiritual guy. You know what? I don't need, I'll marry. You tell me, mommy, daddy, who to marry, I'll marry anyone. It's not true. It's forbidden. You have to see the person, and be attracted. If you're not attracted to the person, it's forbidden to get married to them. Again, you're holy. You can't do that in Judaism. So let me share with you a Hasidic story. There's a Hasidic story about this case. They say the story like this. There was a guy who, it was an arranged marriage, okay, back in Europe. And the way the story goes is as follows. The couple were coming together, they have a big wedding, they hadn't met each other yet. They were going to see each other before the wedding, as some of the old Hasidic customs were. And they were going to go and see each other, see if they attract each other, talk. The parents already knew each other. The parents already knew that they figured they would be a good match for each other. And hopefully there would be an arranged marriage and get married. The way the story goes is as follows. They come to the wedding ball, and they now have the time when the bride and the groom are going to meet. And they meet, and the bride says, "No way. No way. I'm not marrying this guy. Forget about it. Not a chance in the world." And what's pointed out, the wedding's called off. Why did you want to marry the guy? Why is he so good? So the guy was a hunchback. So I'm not marrying the guy, he's a hunchback. Okay, fair enough, right? So I'm marrying him. So the guy, listen, the wedding's not going to happen. It's off. He says, listen, give me 15 minutes to talk to her. I said, listen, she doesn't want to talk to you. It's over. It ain't happening. Sorry. Just give me 15 minutes to talk to her. Fine. 15 minutes, talk to her. Comes out, wedding's on! Wow. It's amazing. What did you say to her? So I told her the Kabbalistic idea that before we were created, that God had shown what we were going to be, our souls, what they were going to be in this world. And He showed you, and He showed me. And I saw that you were going to be a hunchback. And I prayed to God that instead of being you, it should be me. And she said yes. Now, to me, it sounds like a great pickup line. Because I don't believe it for a minute. I don't know about you, but I mean, gotta hang on before hey, it's a pickup line. But the point, though, is true, though, that the concept could be real. Because you could imagine if there would have been someone that was not attracted to, imagine the story, let's say it was true. Okay? Imagine there was this guy who was a hunchback. Imagine that was true. That he took it on himself instead of her. Would you then reconsider marrying if it was true? Ladies, help me out with it. You don't have to answer. Just think a minute. If the guy really was, the husband was supposed to be the woman, and the man took it on himself instead, would you marry him? You have to answer the question, but think about it. Possible. Possible. It's possible. Because there's something that's beyond the physical dimension. There's an attraction, but sometimes something even more important. Okay? That goes beyond just the physical. Now we're going to the second level of the soul. The second level is called the Ruach. The Ruach. The Nefesh is in charge of the physical. The Ruach The ruach is in charge of the emotional. The emotional. The personality. Okay? That's called the ruach. And this is crucial. Okay? It's crucial because I want to tell you something now. You know, what the ruach means is that the second part of your soul, you meet someone, not only do you have the attraction, you have to see that they have good traits, and that what? You are compatible. So you're compatible with the person. Okay? So now I want to just give you some a heads up, a warning. And you can say it's the first, if it's the first place you've heard it, I want to guarantee this. When a person will go and get married, okay, you will find, no matter how close you are, you're always going to find things that, wow, I didn't know the person did that. There's always going to be surprises. No matter how well you knew the person, once you get married, there's going to be aspects that you didn't know about the person, okay? And now I want to ask you a question, something that's very, people say today, it's not a very nice comment. People will say the best way to ruin a relationship is to get married. Okay? You know why they say that? I'll give you an example that happened. My wife told me of a couple of friends of hers. They were going out together for 8 years. They were inseparable. 8 years. What happened? They got married. They got divorced 3 months later. And that phenomenon happens, God forbid. It happens sometimes. You've heard such things? People have gone out for a long time. No one else has heard of that? They're for a long time. They get married and it explodes. I want to ask you, why is that? Why is it that a relationship could be people who seem to know each other well, they get married and things explode? Do you have any ideas why that is?
Their expectations change. Once they feel like they're married, so their expectations for that person change.
That's right. Very good. Your expectations change. Because when you're going out, your best foot is forward. Okay? Because really, if you're not committed fully, so my best foot is forward, because if I put the wrong foot forward, the person could be out the door. So you put your best foot forward. And what happens, unfortunately, sometimes if people get married, you don't know. Now all of a sudden the guy's a couch potato, he's sitting there with the beer all day, what happened? You were the knight in shining armor before. Yeah, okay, but I have a couple of games on it. It changes, and what happens is that always, and this is why we have a 65% divorce rate, what happens is that people then go and say, I want to get. I've been in this relationship, I've been putting a lot into it, I've been investing into it, and now we're married, now I can sit back, and now, give me, I want to get. And once that happens, it's a recipe for disaster. That's not going to work. And so, I want to redefine it in a minute, in an amazing, amazing way. It's a Jewish perspective that I think just coming to hear this idea itself is worth everything. Okay? Does anyone know what the Hebrew word for love is? Ahava. 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 Now, the root of the word ahava is in Hebrew is hav. Hav actually means, you know what it means? To give. That's what love means. From a Jewish perspective, love means giving. It's not what we think. The more I get, this person makes me feel good. They're giving to me, and therefore I love them. It's actually the opposite. The more you give to that person, the more you feel love. Now, of course, if the person is not reciprocal, you need to go to counseling. It's a problem. Normal people are reciprocal. If you're giving to the person and you're there for them, then normally they're giving back to you. But it depends what's your mindset. The love is that I'm giving. Now, here's an amazing idea. I think the whole thing, just the word is one idea. The shortcomings of your partner, the shortcomings of your partner are going to be exactly the areas that you need to grow. It's backwards with what everyone thinks. Let me give you an example. So let's say imagine a husband who is a hothead. He's got no patience, he's impatient, he's a hothead, he's angry all the time. So he marries a woman. Now what happens? He happens to marry a woman that's set up beautifully that she can't cook to save her life. Okay? First day of the wedding, after the wedding, she comes, she cooks, she burns the food. Second day, she burns the food again. The third day, again, she burns the food. Now what does he want to say? He's a hot one. He wants to say, "You idiot! Get to cook a piece of meat when it's with you! You fool!" He wants to let her have it. What's he supposed to say to her? He'll say, "Honey, wow, you made my favorite, very black meat. I love it. This is great. Amazing. Oh, or you know, I got my new tool set. This is perfect with my hammer and chisel. This is great. Honey, that's so amazing." That's what he's supposed to say. Because what happens now is, it's a different perspective. He has to go and see what he has to fix up, which is his impatience and his anger. She's going to have shortcomings that are going to fit in with him if he acts right to her and he gives to her and gets outside his own negativity. He'll become a happy, completed person. He'll feel more love to her and vice versa. And that's what happens when people meet each other. They even sometimes subconsciously pick out people on an emotional level. Not only are they compatible, but they fit each other. But what happens is, when your mentality is, "What are you going to give to me?" it falls apart. When your mentality is that your shortcomings, I have shortcomings, you have shortcomings, but now we're together and I'm going to give to you and help you in your areas and vice versa, then we complete each other. Because people do it on a crazy subconscious level. I do family counseling. So I remember there was one time, we had a case, it was bizarre. A woman, she grew up as a Catholic woman from an Irish Catholic family in New York, and she wanted to go as far away from it as she could. She was in an abusive house, she wanted to leave it. She converted, she moved to Israel. She married a Jewish guy in Israel. And they came to therapy because, unknown to her, consciously, he was abusive in exactly the same way as her family of origin. It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, it's sick. It's not normal. It's a situation where persons feel, is an abusive relationship. They have to know how to get out of it. But what happens is, when you find another person on the emotional level, there's a match happening. And hopefully, if you do it in a healthy, conscious way, your parts that are shortcomings, we all have shortcomings. But if I'm thinking how I'm going to give ahava to the other one, we're going to complete each other on that second level. Okay? Let me take questions, comments, thoughts on what I said so far, because that was a lot. That piece right there, if we apply that, I think it changes marriage. In most marriages in the States today, which are, as I say, more than half of them are doing. And I think I'm over here, but I'm saying at the point of what the society is doing today is we have a tremendously high divorce rate. And I hate to say that even amongst those that remain married, many of them are not happy. So something is going on wrong. And I think if we take this idea, we apply it, we can really have a happy marriage. So that's the Jewish marriage, which is a very, very happy marriage, very low divorce rate, very happy marriages because it's forgiveness. Now, questions, thoughts on what I said so far? Makes sense? Not make sense? Yes, no, maybe, a little bit. Want some tomatoes to throw at me? I'm easy. Good, makes sense? Not make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on. Now, these two levels happen very, very naturally. Okay? When you meet someone, you obviously want to, if you're attracted, then you're physically attracted, and you want to know also if you have an emotional compatibility with them. The next level, though, of the soul, amazingly, is very often not even discussed. Doesn't happen in the relationship. It's called the neshama. Neshama. The third level of the soul is called the neshama. And the neshama is in charge of the mental values of the person. Okay? What do you value? What you can think of it, what do you value? And it's amazing. It's amazing. People can actually get married and go through the physical and the emotional and never get to the neshama level, the mental values that we share. They don't discuss it sometimes. It's amazing. Okay? Let me give you an example. Sometimes you have, say, an interfaith couple. Now, at that point, what has to happen is the couple have to discuss their value system, what's important to them. And very often I find in counseling that they've never discussed it. So a child then is born, and they have a problem. Because all of a sudden, the Jewish partner says, well, we're going to circumcise this child. And the Christian one says, we're going to baptize the child. And they're stuck. And then what do we do? So they find like this crazy kind of like compromise. Okay, well, we'll baptize them with a priest who's circumcised, but we're going to keep them. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's like bizarre. We find different ways to go into and to make it work. But these are fundamental things that have to be discussed. And sometimes they're not. And that is a key in the relationship. It has to be discussed here. The mental values. Okay? The emotional values also, but I put them mental in terms of what is important to you, what's valuable. Okay, third level. Let's go to the fourth level. The fourth level is a very, very deep level. It's called the chaya. The chaya is the fourth part of the soul. Chaya. That is your unique purpose. Your unique purpose. What is your unique purpose? What's your unique vision of the world? What's your goals? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Okay? And that has to be discussed. I want to show you now, in 1 second, the difference, the idea of Jewish dating. It's very simple. It's very simple. Dating in the world goes this way. Right? It goes this way. Most important, irrelevant, go take a hike. Right? That's kind of the way it sort of manifests. The Jewish system is to go this way. You go from this way up. You start discussing here. You're discussing what is about what I want. What's my goals? What are my values? Okay, those are the central discussions. And are we compatible? And the physical has to be there. But the physical could fool us. I mean, ask a question. I mean, how do people, you don't have to answer this. How do people get in a relationship where they know it's over, but they somehow have lingered in the relationship for another 8 months? Most of us have done that. Right? We know it's over. But you know what happens? The physical aspect is like glue. It's a very powerful drug. If I come and I say, how you doing, Sam? I put my hand on his shoulder, we have a relationship. Physical things are very, very powerful. So there's a physical attraction, and now there's the physical dimension. We lose the other ones. And that's why Jewish dating works the opposite. We start to figure out, what really are you about? What are your values? Yeah, let's go that way. Oh, are we compatible? Yes. Is there a spark? There's a spark. Then we're great. But if you go the other way, it's very, very, very dangerous. Okay? And so it's very key to be able to understand the priority. Let me say the one other point here. So the fifth level. The fifth level is called the Yechida. Yechida. Yechida is, in Hebrew, it means the oneness. Okay? And this is the level where it says in the Kabbalah, in the Zohar, that the souls of the couple are one soul before they come into this world. They're one soul, and they're separated. And when they're separated, they go and they then reunite afterwards and become one. Okay, and that's what it means. When a husband and wife have relations, when they're together, they're one entity, physically, emotionally, spiritually, in every sense, they're one. Because in their yechida, in their root of their soul, they were one entity. They were split into male, female, and they come together afterwards. Those are the 5 levels. Okay, that's what it means, soulmates. Okay, before when the child is formed, 40 days into creation, it says in the Talmud that a voice comes out. This one is for that one. These two are part of one whole. Okay, so when you hit it, you have to be able to get all 5. This one is hard to know because this is a completely spiritual level. These we have power over. When we hit these, we know this one's going to be there. Okay? If you try to arbitrarily meet someone and you don't go through the process, it's very difficult. The Talmud actually says a story. It says that there was a great rabbi, Rabbi Yossi, and what happened was this Roman noblewoman said to him, listen, what does God do now after He created the world? What does He do? He's off. He's unemployed. What does He do? Right? What does He do? What does it mean? So he says, you know what He does? He goes and He makes matches. So this Roman nobleman said, that's not what God do also. She takes 1,000 of her slaves, the male slaves, 1,000 female slaves, and she goes and she makes matches. She marries them off. A mass marriage. Next day, they all come in. One guy's got a broken arm. They got a fat lip. You know, they're all disheveled and distraught. Get me away from this person. Why? Because it's not arbitrary. It's not just meeting someone. It happens to be that there's two souls that are split. And when they come together, they're one whole unit. That's very, very, very powerful. Very powerful. So how do you go and maximize the ability to meet that person? Those who haven't yet, not those who haven't. But if you haven't, how do you maximize it? Well, one way is to bring out what is your unique quality. Because what's going to happen is, if you're going to meet another person, you have to sometimes bring out what you're really about. When you bring out what your real potential is, then at that point, the other person that you're supposed to meet, that other half of yours, is going to be appropriate for now to unite. But if you're like on a wrong trip, we have free will, and we're living our lives in a way that's not appropriate to hook up with our other half, then we can push it off. We can delay that unity. Okay? Before I go on, I have come up because any questions, comments, thoughts on what I said so far? And let's say one more aspect. Great? Okay. One other point. So let's say hopefully we've done the right thing. We started here and we started talking about our unique goals and our mental concepts. We have an emotional level. We have also the physical attraction. We start in the right direction. That means we're soulmates. We've been brought together. Okay. Now the problem is you're together hopefully. How do you make sure it succeeds? Okay? Because unfortunately what happens in the world is that we said there's very bad statistics right now. So to understand this, I have to go back to what I said before. I said that love was what? Giving. This is a very, very different approach than we have in the world today. When we talk in the world, today in the world we talk about somebody and we sing songs about it, and we write books about it. It's about what? It's all about falling in love, right? Falling in love, right? But think about it a minute. Think about the terminology. I'm falling in love. What does that mean? You're walking down the road, whoops! Oh man, I fell in it! That love thing, darn it. But it's crazy. You fall in the ditches, in the pits, in the holes. How do you fall into love? I mean, you fell into it. The whole concept is bizarre. Boy, oh gosh, I fell in that thing again. What does that mean? It's bizarre. Because it's a whole different concept. You see, falling in love, what that really is, in our terminology is, when you meet someone that is potentially this person, there's this infatuation, there's this excitement, okay? Now what that is that's a taste of what it could be. You can make it this plus more. But if we don't go and nurture that through the Abba, through the giving, it fades away. It fades away. That's why people say, darn it, I was walking down the street and I fell into love, but I fell out. You fell out? I didn't fall out. You fell out. I don't know, it just fell out. Nuclear reactor. You fall out. What does that mean? Bizarre. So the concept like this is like, imagine you have a goal you have to get to. You have a giant mansion to go to. You're walking through the night, through the darkness, and all of a sudden you see a flash of lightning. Then what happens? You know how to go. But you know what happens afterwards? Back to dark. Now you have a direction you have to walk. The infatuation we feel when we first get married, the beginning, when we first meet a person that excites us, that is a glimpse of the potential of where this could go. It can go there and much, much further. Now the lighting is off, because it fades. But what happens is if you built it through your ava, through your giving, you not only get back to that infatuation state, you get even more. If you don't, then you fall in and you fall out. That's not what we want to do. So the concept here in terms of relationships is to get the priorities straight. Look for the root of what it's about, which is knowing your values, knowing your purpose. Make sure everything else is in line. And once you have that relationship, to make it work, it's all dependent on the fact of understanding. It's all inspiration and then work. Inspiration is the infatuation. That's the beginning. For us, people fall in love. Don't go fall in love. We call it now showing you what you can make if you give the ava, if you give the love, and you build that unity, build that soul connection, and you become one soul. Questions, thoughts, comments? Something. Let me hear. Any arguments?
Back to the whole physical thing, I had a friend and she knew, I guess it was a friend of a friend or whatever, and he was dating and kept going out with all these girls and he had very high standards and they had to look a very certain way and have a certain hair color and very, very, very picky. And he went out with a good couple, like a few dozen different girls and none of them were going anywhere. And a friend of his said, go out with this girl, I'm telling you, she's not up to your standards, but just go out with her, it's worth it. And he married that one because at the end of the day, it's about everything else, and he thinks she's the most beautiful person in the entire world because everything else is what
That's a great story. It's a great story. It's really, guys generally are much more focused on the physical in a certain sense. Now, I'll just give you an example for this. I guess we'll get tape, we can edit it afterwards. We're speaking bluntly. There was an article that they did in a paper years ago, they had it in a magazine, about a study of a gigolo, a male prostitute. And this gigolo was explaining to the reporter there what he does. Right? What's his name? So he does is he goes and he takes this woman and he meets this woman, he goes and takes her out to dinner, he develops a relationship with her, and and once it's done, they have a whole relationship, and then things are good, they go back and they do what they do. Now, I'm speaking very bluntly, but when a guy goes to a prostitute, he's not trying to develop a relationship with her. He's not having can we speak about you cheating? He's not doing any of that stuff. Why? Because a guy, generally, a woman has a much more sensitive ability towards the emotional level. Okay? And that's why sometimes guys, it becomes a problem because they become very focused on the visual, they become focused on the physical much more. Now, I'm not saying that's not important for women, also the physical, but a woman generally has more of a connection also to the emotional level. Men, because they are very centered on visual, sometimes get stuck, which your friend could have gotten really stuck and screwed his whole life up. And I want to tell you, I know people who were in your friend's situation and they're 50 years old with her and they're still not married. Okay, because that happens very often with some of the guys where they don't see past level one. They get so obsessed with it, and in today's society, it's hard not to also because you're bombarded by it in terms of commercials and everything else. So they get stuck there, and it becomes a real problem. So it's a great thing that he realized that, and then his way of probably seeing her physically also changed also. Now he sees her and she's very attractive. Great, great. Any other thoughts, questions, comments? Anybody? Nicole, you got some idea? Put you on the spot here.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just going through my mind because I feel like, as far as giving, that makes sense, which is why parenthood is like so powerful. But in my head, I was just thinking like there has to be like obviously it has to be reciprocal. And I was just wondering if there was like what in Judaism there was that would
Make sure it's reciprocal.
yeah, which is why I hadn't said this out loud, and I was just going
That's
round
good.
and round in my head.
That's what I wanted to bring it out. Thank you. So it's a very, very good question. And you know, usually in the Jewish circles, when a couple gets married, so they actually go and they learn usually before the rabbi said, you know. I've taught a lot of people getting married. And what we do is, you know, there's times where everyone's together, but there's times where they're separate. And I will discuss with the future husband how he has to go and relate in a positive, giving way to his wife. And Elisheva will discuss with the future bride how she's going to her husband. So what happens is we both come with the same perspective that we're giving to each other. And so since each one, you could focus on the rights or responsibilities in life. I call those, you know, what's due to me, or what am I supposed to contribute? So what we do is we talk to both the husband and the wife about what they're supposed to, how they're supposed to look at from a Jewish perspective, what the giving entails. And then they both are doing it because it's the right thing to do. And so they're both hopefully on that path. That's the first step. The first step is giving the information and the direction the Torah gives that God has given us and how we relate to each other. We share with husband and wife separately. And I don't tell, like, you know, right when I was going with a couple recently. So when I got with the husband, I was reading something in Maimonides showing him how a husband should honor his wife more than himself and all these different things. And then when it came to the part about the wife's obligation, I said, look, I'm skipping that. What are you skipping it for? I said, because if I tell it to you, then I'm worried you're going to go back and say, hey, you're not doing what my mommy said here. You know, that's not the point. The point is, what are you supposed to do? So we share with each one of them what they're supposed to do. And then, in a normative situation, normal people, when you're giving to the other person, normally they give back. If they don't, as I said before, then there's a problem that's not normative. Then they would be counseling. Because they're not, if somebody if I'm giving, the husband's giving to the wife, and her response is, you know, she's, here's a diamond ring, here's flowers, here's all this thing, and she's like, great, just you leave me alone, go to the country club. I want to have no relationship. That's a problem that needs therapy. That's something that's not, it's not normative. So the two answers to the question are, we teach both what responsibilities to each other, and both have. The second point is that in normal relationships, when someone gives to you, you're going to give back. If you don't, then it's just a fundamental problem.
So does Judaism have a view of what, not obviously infidelity happens, addiction, but does Judaism have a view of like theoretically why it happens?
Yeah, because they're two levels, because they're not relating together in the way they should. If they were, it wouldn't come to that. If the wife felt loved, the husband felt the wife was appreciated, and they appreciated each other, then they wouldn't look outside the circle. Now, sometimes what happens in society is that sometimes, you know, we have a very open society today, so it presents some other issues, you know, because, you know, you could be at a workplace and, you know, and get very friendly with other people, and there's sometimes some danger with that. But generally, the first step is to make sure that the bond is really, really genuine. You know, that it's just you and me, right? And in Jewish relation, we put everything around that to make sure the relationship is just husband and wife. Even the point where we minimize, you know, contact with friends. We make things exclusively one for the other. And so we do some defense around it, but also it's emotionally that we feel that we're giving to each other in a way that just motivates you.
So I've heard before people say something like, well, she's not the woman I married, or he's not the man I married. So like, initially maybe work all these things met, the wedding, so that you said, after you're married, you get comfortable, you might not be all of those. Something over there might not be the same after the wedding as it was.
So,
So, how do you know
Okay.
what's true?
So those are very good questions. You hear it all the time. Right. So what I'm saying is, first of all, one of the reasons people say it because they really never discuss this. Many times, you can't believe how often it happens. They really never got into this, neither themselves thinking about what their values are, and certainly not what the other person's values. They might feel their own values. So problem A is that people sometimes do not know the person in this area to be hard. That's problem one. Okay. You don't agree with that?
They even know themselves on the height of them.
Right. Many people don't.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, how do you know what's true? I mean, the person might say all kinds of, like, I want to do this, that, on that 10 days, on that, whatever. I mean, and you believe them. You're like, oh wow, this person really wants what I want, Or is he just saying that because maybe that's what I want?
Oh,
You're
you're saying in a case where you've spoken to the person, you tried, and the person misled the other person somehow.
Well, they didn't know at the time. Like,
Right.
how do you know that these things before the wedding are going to continue after the wedding partner? And after you already know, okay, this person, now we're together, we're going to work to be done for each other. So
Right.
how do you know that it's going to last? Or how do you know what's true? You know what I mean? Like, it's
Okay, I understand, but it's a good question. So I say this. There's two parts to that. One is, yes, theoretically possible someone could fool someone. I know why they want to do that because they got to live with this person now. But theoretically, someone could tell, yeah, I want to have 10 kids, and then the person will like, are you out of your mind? So they're going to have a little bit of a problem there. So it could be someone could fool someone, and then they're going to run into problems. Why someone would do that, I don't know, but it could be possible. But what I was telling you also, sometimes people on a subconscious level really know what's going on with the other person. And I was telling you before, sometimes people marry a person and say, listen, I really didn't know X, Y, and Z. And I would translate that sometimes saying, you didn't know on a conscious level. Not always. Sometimes a person is fooled. And in our case, a person is fooled. And that's why we do believe in the idea of possibly divorce. It's really some problem. We don't encourage it. But the idea is sometimes a person can be fooled, but very often, subconsciously, the person did know certain things, just didn't really consciously. And then I say you go into the second level, which is that you realize that you may have to just work things through.